Elves aren't racist, they just care about their heritage. Here's how I reinvented some elves so they got more to them than just hating the dirt-kicking dwarves. So in my mangas based on my D&D games, you got forest elves, cave elves, and ice elves. And because forest elves are the most common elf type in the world, we're gonna focus on them. Also because they appear in all three of my mangas, I think it's a good race to talk about. The thing that I need you to understand is most of the world is mixed species societies. Like in the Elven Forest is where you'll find some elven exclusive cities. And that's because that's the home of the forest elves. And trust me, they were pissed when they could not get approval to move the Great Elven Library to an elven exclusive city. Like only forest elves can get into the library, but they wanted it to be where you couldn't even see the library unless you were a forest elf. But if the world is mixed species societies, how does a race get supremacy in a local area? And that's all thanks to their cultural association. Like the Elven Sustainment Cultural Association is for the forest elves, and it is entirely designed to promote policies that help forest elves. And it is by far the biggest of the cultural associations and the most powerful because they have instituted a race tax. Yeah, like a literal tax for existing as that race. And so every forest elf and or a family who has adopted a forest elf has to pay this 2% tax. And the thing is, the organization has got enough influence where in most civilized society, they've been able to implement this tax. And it has become so ingrained in elven culture that you don't even debate the tax. So you literally have billions of forest elves paying this tax every year. And the thing is, some of the other cultural associations have played with this idea, like the Dwarven Society in certain locations has a dwarf tax. But the thing is, they don't tax the independent dwarf, but instead they will tax the government of that city the dwarf tax based on how many dwarves are there. So you're like, how do they convince the city to pay a tax because of the race that's there? Why would they do that? Well, you can thank Igni, the spirit of fire and metal, for that one. Because the thing with the land bridge is it has some of the most advanced technology in the world. And it's not just Igni's territory that does it. Astral has technology as well. The king of the machines has technology. And so what'll happen is empires or kingdoms will make a bid to get materials, equipment, weapons, whatever it is, from these entities. And one of the things that Igni does as a patron of dwarves, thanks to his old relationship with the mother of dwarves, that he's been able to leverage the dwarven tax onto governments in return for high quality structural metal for architecture. And because Igni has the ability to also dictate what type of metals is in a particular part of the world, so maybe the government's willing to pay this tax in order to get more copper, more silver. Maybe their neighbors might not have as many mine shafts that produce gold. But the elves literally put themselves into positions of power because of the money of their organization. And so they can write laws that benefit the forest elves more than anyone else. But you can see how the lore is applied in my mangas: The Devil's Deal, The Night of Slaughter, and Deep Stalker Crow.